Hello everyone. I said yesterday, we will continue on where we have left. Uh, Now we were here. Now we need to uh, make the inventory appear on our screen, and then we'll pick up weapon and try to drop it on the ground and all this good stuff. And if we have time today, we'll make the rotate also, and if not, we'll continue tomorrow. Yeah. So let's start. First of all, let's go to the inventory grid UI, not the inventory UI, but the grid one. Here we'll do some stuff. Let's grab the grid border. We'll say slot as canvas slot here, and we'll say set size, not auto size but size. Okay, we'll connect it here. Now we'll make a new variable. We'll call it line, and this one we'll rename it to tile size. This one need to be the line structure that we have made. This one, the line structure that we have made in the first video, and also it need to be an array because it will have many lines, and we'll split this, and we'll take the inventory component. We'll get the column, and we'll get the rows. First we will we'll do a multiply, and we'll take the tile size, we'll multiply it here, and this one will go into the X, and for this we'll multiply the rows, and the tile will go here and then into the Y. And after that, remember we have created the create line segment. We'll just drag and drop it here, but we have not filled it yet, so we'll go and fill it now. So we'll start with a sequence. Like I told you yesterday, you just hold S on your keyboard and click, you will get the sequence, or right click and type sequence and you'll get the sequence. Okay, and now we'll take the inventory component. We'll get the columns, and we'll do a for loop, and this one will be connected into the first sequence, and the last, and this need to be in the last index, not the first index. The column need to be in the the last index, and the first index need to be 0. We'll take the tile size, we'll multiply this index of the for loop with the tile size, and then we'll promote this to a local variable which will be called, which we can call x local, and we can duplicate it and make it y local because we will need it also. And we'll take the loop body and connect it here, and we'll take the line, we'll drag and drop it here. If you hold control on your keyboard and you hold control on your keyboard and drag it, you will get the constant one, and if you hold alt on your keyboard you will get the set. Just some hint for you to work much more quicker. And for the line we will need to get add this one. We'll add it here, and this we will do make line. You just drag and you will get make lines here. And also just a reminder, I told you that we would be working on the 5.1.1 version of Unreal Engine, but I was getting some problem with the 5.1.1, so I'm working with the 5.2.1, which is much more which is the latest one, and it will be much better for you to be working with the latest version. Okay, let's continue, and we'll split this and we'll split this. You just right click and split, you will see the split and you will get it. For this one we will get drag the x local, we'll put it in the start, we'll copy and paste, and we'll put it in the end, and we'll get the inventory component, we'll get the get rows. Remember, we get the column here and we get the rows here. For the first one we get the rows, not the column but the rows, and we'll multiply it by the tile size here, and it would go into the ny, and this one remains 0. So here we are. Okay, we just put it like this, and let's just make a comment, create columns, and we'll just copy everything, and we'll make the rows now. So we get the get rows, like above it goes into the last index, but this time it is a rows, and these need to be changed to the y local, and this remains the same. And we get the get columns, and this one we get the columns. We did it the rows, and we delete the X local, and we'll take the Y local, we'll put it in the start Y, and we'll take the Y local, we'll put it in the N Y, and this one will go into the NX. So it will be like this. Let's just make a comment, and I'll make a recap on this one. Create rows. Okay, first of all, we get a sequence. So a sequence is like it does one line of code, and then after that, even if it fails, it goes to the then one. So here it won't fail because it's just lines. Yeah, and here we get the columns for the create columns, and we multiply the index by the tile size. We make a variable, a local variable, and it goes into here, and we add the line here, and the line, we make a line structure, and the X local goes into the start X, the X local goes into the NX, and the inventory, we get the inventory in the rows and multiplied by the tile, and it goes into the NY. Yeah, so it will be like this, and then in the end of the Y, it just shorted, and it does not continue to go beneath the inventory, the limit that we have set. For the rows, it's the same, and we get the rows. The index remain, the first index remains 0, the last index is the rows, and multiply the tile size with the index. We get the set the local Y, we add the line, and for this one, the Y local goes into the start Y, and it goes into the NY, and this one, this time it goes into the NX, and the start X remains 0. So here now we need to make the actual line appear on the screen. Now if you hover here, you'll see overwrite. You'll just scroll down and you'll see on paint. You click on paint, and just disconnect it for now and put it here. We'll do a sequence again. We'll do here, and here we'll add another then, and the return will go into the then 2. Okay, and now we'll fill this one later, the then one later. We'll just focus on the then 0 now, for now. For this one, we'll get the line. We'll get a for each loop, and for this one, we'll do a we'll get the grid border. We'll get cache geometry, this one, and the grid border, that not the canvas but the border. we'll get the get local top left, which would be us, the top left point, not point, the top left, yeah, top left point of the geometry, which is a grid border, which would be this one, and we'll do it plus, no, so we'll just split this, and the start will go here, and it will be this, and we'll just copy and paste in the end, and then have two, and you just right click and say draw line, not lines, line, and it goes into the loop body. And this one we just get context, and we'll get the context here, and this one will go into position A, and this one will go into position B, and the thing would be you can put it like a 0.5. You will get a grayish color. After that, you can compile and save, and we need to go into our player controller. Yeah, and into our player controller, into our here, into content, advanced locomotion. If you're using the ALS locomotion, you just go into this, and you go into blueprint, you go into character logic, you'll get the animan, the base, and then ALS player controller. You just double click on it, just zoom, and we'll have a character info for the eye, but we'll use it for our inventory. You can just disconnect it, and we'll use it into our character. So for now, let's just go into our ALS animan, into the graph, to make things much more neat, and not having a mess everywhere. You just click on new graph and type inventory, and we'll have this. So let's go into our BP inventory component. We have created the toggle inventory here. Let's just 1 minute. Yeah, let's go into the ALS animan. Here we'll into the ALS animan character blueprint. You go into you click add here, and you'll find inventory. You type inventory components, is a component that we have created. Like I told you, you can assign it to anything, and it would have the inventory here. You just drag and drop it here, and for this one, 1 minute. Yeah, for this one we'll do let's go into the event graph, not the inventory graph but the event graph. We'll right click, we say begin play, event begin play, and on the begin play you just right click on it, and you say, and you'll click on add call to parent function just in case you have like uh, like this one you have a base, because a base character already have the here already have those code. We don't want to mess with it. We just put it here, and we can do a sequence just in case we'll have some more code. And here we'll drag the inventory component. We'll say initialized, and we'll put it into the Zen one. And also just compile and save, and inventory component. One minute, let me go back to my old code. Yeah, okay. So we go into the inventory component here, into the toggle inventory. We'll do a remember we have created this inventory UI reference. We'll just do it like if you right click on it, you can convert to validated get, or if you want you can just drag and drop it here and you say is valid, and then you get this. It's the same, but only one node. It's just the same one. You just connect it here into the toggle inventory, into the inventory component. For the first one, if it is not valid, we'll go in and put it in set game post, and we'll do a set game post here, and we'll do a create widget, and we'll select the inventory UI, and for this one we'll do self. Oh, sorry. This one will do self for the inventory component, because we are already into the inventory component, so we do self. And for the tile size, we'll do tile size here, and we'll take the inventory reference, we'll just drag and drop it here so it is set, and we'll take the inventory here reference, we'll add to viewport. We say add to viewport, and we'll say get player controller. We say get player controller, and we say set show mouse cursor, and we'll put it like this. This will show the mouse, and we'll take the and this one will say set input mode to game, and UI here. We'll just connect it here, and for the widget in focus we'll connect the UI inventory reference, and do not lock and hide cursor, you can just check this one. And for this is for the not valid one. Now we will do a 1 minute, let me. Okay, we'll have some code before that, but we'll implement it a little bit later because we don't have much yet. So we'll do a remove from parent. Yeah, we take this and we say remove from parent if it is if it is valid, and we'll take this and just set it to none, and we'll take the player controller and the show mouse cursor, we'll just paste it here, and we'll uncheck this one, and we'll say set input mode to input mode game only, and this one will be here, and also we'll say set game pose to false, and we'll go into the animan, and we'll go into the inventory. We will do we will do a I key. You can just get anyone and then click here and then press I on your keyboard and it will change to I, and make sure to make it execute when paused, because make sure to make it execute when paused, because when we will toggle the inventory, the game will be paused, and if you do not put it execute when paused, it won't be executed, and nothing would happen. And you just drag and drop the inventory component and say toggle inventory and press here, and here we go. So let's just test it. Sorry, let's go to the animan and click on the inventory component here into the animan character, the blueprint. You just click on the inventory component where we have implemented the inventory component. On your detail panels you will see column. You can just put like 5, and on the rows you can put like 10, and you just compile it, and also the tile you can put like 50. I'll show you what it does. You can just press tab to here, and then you press it here, you get your, and the game is paused, and you press I again, it goes back. Just 1 minute, just go to your inventory grid widget UI, you just go to the grid border, into the grid border. Just make sure to the padding is 0. Also the brush color need put it like black, and then sorry, okay, you just go to the grid border and just make sure the brush color is you just go to the inventory grid UI, and the grid border, make sure to make it 0, and then the alpha is 0.25, and then you click OK. It should give you a color like this, and make sure the padding is 0. You just compile and save it, and you can test it. It will give you something like this. Yeah, here. So we have okay, this, okay, yeah, and the game is paused, and if you press again, the game is unpaused, just like in Resident Evil 4. Yeah, so your enemy can't kill you, or if you want, you can just skip the pause, just to make your game a little bit much more competitive. For this now, we'll try to make the video a little bit much more shorter than yesterday. Just okay, now we will start with the pickup of the weapon, and make sure it goes into our inventory. For that we will need some actual weapon. Let's just go to the marketplace. You can find FPS weapon bundle, this one, the FPS weapon bundle here, and after that you just add it to your project, and I have already added it. And the other thing that you will need is some icons. Here I'll put a link into the description for the icons where you can download it. Here are the icons that I've been using. For that you just select all, and you just drag and drop the texture here, and you just select all, and you go to asset action, and you right click, you go into asset action, you go into bulk edit via matrix properties, you go into the level of details, and the texture group would be I think it would be world. I think it would be world. You just change it and make sure it is UI, so that we only have the no background, and we have only the weapon here. Yeah, so to start we need to find to make sure we have a way to pick up the weapon. So we'll go into our inventory here, we'll go into our item. Here we have already created the base item and the base item object. So for the base item, we'll just right click, and we'll say create child blueprint, and we'll say weapon. We'll say weapon. This would be a like a subclass of weapon, and then for the weapon we'll have more subclass like for the guns, and you can have bows, you can have grenade and all these good stuff. But for this for now we'll have only the guns, and later we'll add grenade, bows, and all these kind of weapons. Yeah, so we'll do this. No, just let's just make it bp underscore main. Let's just weapons. Let's just make a folder, and we'll say guns, and for that we'll right click on the weapon one, not the base one. On the weapon one we'll create a child class, we'll say AK. We say guns, and for this one we'll say we'll right click on the gun, we'll create another child, and then we'll create the subclass like AK-47. We just drag this one here, and for the weapon we can have another one. We'll do knives, we'll do bows, grenade, etc. Yeah. For the gun, let's just create let's just make it duplicate and put it like M4 AK-47 short okay, we'll do 3 for now, and then you can add it later if you want. It will be the same anyway. Now we'll go into the BP base item. In the base item, because it is the main of all these. So let's just go into these and open full blueprint, and after that we'll 1 minute before we continue, let's go into the ALS player controller. Let's just disconnect all these, because we will need some button. Just disconnect it. And this and this also, and this also, and the begin play also. You just disconnect it, so that when you press play you don't have anything on your screen, except when you press I you get the inventory that we have made. Okay, and now we go into the BP base item, not the base item object, but the base item. In the BP base item we'll do a we'll add a sphere collision. We'll add a sphere collision here. This can be changed based on your requirements or ranges. The ranges here you can put it however you want. Just let it be a default one. We'll change that according to our needs. So we'll do a now we will let's just do a scene component. which will be widget. We'll rename it to widget attach man, and we'll make it attach here, so that it is not root to the sphere. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it is not root to the sphere, and okay, no worries. Yeah, and after that we will create a variable. We'll call that item object, and it will be bp underscore item. It will be item object, base item object that we have created. This one, the bp base item object. Let's just compile and save everything. And for this base item object, let's put it into a private category because we won't need it anywhere else. Now let's go to first of all, let's go to our here inventory here, and now let's go to this our content, and to make things much more neat for you to find anything that you need based on what you need, we call that interface. So we'll create a blueprint interface. A blueprint interface is a way to communicate in between blueprint without costing, because costing costs a lot of FPS and memories. Yeah, your game would be lagging if you keep on costing everything, like you say get player character and then cost you. Yeah, it keeps taking your FPS and memories. Yeah, so we'll call that BPI underscore interact. So it will be blueprint interface underscore interact. So we'll use that to interact with our object. We'll double click on it. We'll here we'll make we say interact, and we'll add another one, and we'll say on range entered, and we'll add another one, we'll say on range exited. For this one, we'll do an input of we'll do character, and for this one also we'll do character for the entered and the interact. And for this we'll search for the anime man. You type anime man and you get the ALS anime man character blueprint, and you get the reference here, and this one also you just type animan here, and we are good to go. We can close it, and we go into our blueprint base, item where we were recently. We just go into class setting, we go into interface, implement interface, we'll do add, and we'll search for bpi underscore interact, which will give us the blueprint interface that we have created, and we'll open it, and on here we'll double click on it, on this one. After double clicking on it, we'll say just delete all this one. After double clicking on it, okay, one minute, before we do that, let's just event begin play. On event begin play, we'll do a item object. We'll take the item object, we'll say is valid, the boolean one, and we'll say not boolean, and we'll say a branch. If you hold B on your keyboard, you can get a branch, or you can write branch here, you can get a branch. Yeah, it's just shortcut to make you work much more faster. After that, we'll create a function. The function will be get default item object, and for that we will need we'll take the item object, and you just drag it here, and it will give you this one, and you just drag it here, and you can close it. So for this you can close it, and you just drag this here, and if you plug it in true, and you set the item object here, and for this it will be okay. You don't have to do anything. Yeah, and now let's just 1 minute, let me go to my okay, we'll create let's just put this one into a private category. We'll close this one because we won't need it, and this one will say get item name, and we'll add another one which would be get item description. So for this one we would create two new variable, which would be a text variable. The first one would be interaction item name, which would be when you go near the item, it basically a a widget will pop up and you will see the name, just like in my overview, like I show you. There will be the E key and then the item name, and then the description, like the E key and the AK-47, and it would be description like machine gun or something like this, or health, like something like this. And you just duplicate this one and you will say description interaction item description. And as we are in the item description, we just drag item description, we just drag it here. It will create this one as a return node for us, and we'll connect it here. And for the get item name, we'll get the item name and we'll do it here, and then this, and then we can close all this. Okay, now let's go to our event graph here. Now into our event graph, we have a character, which is our ALS character here. Our character will do get controller. Will say cost to player controller. Yeah, you don't have to worry about costing to player controller, because the player controller is not that expensive. Only the character is already expensive. The controller is already spawning, so you don't at the beginning of the game, so it won't matter it won't matter, it just won't matter. Yeah, you just disconnect this one. On the cost to player controller, just convert it to true cost, because it won't fail, because it is like I told you, it is the first thing, not the first thing, but one of the first things that spawn at the beginning of the game. And after that, we need to create a widget. Let's go to our where would we put it? Let's just right click and let's just put it like let's just put it here, and we'll say we'll make a folder and we say widget, and in here we'll say we'll create a widget and we'll call it we'll use a widget, and we say interaction UI underscore interaction. And in this one we'll do a canvas panel, and we'll do a border, and for this we would be, you click on the border here, you click on the fill screen, you say it's desired on the screen, and for that you would anchor it everywhere. You just put it here, to content. Just a minute. No, not side to content, but we'll put a horizontal box into the border. Okay, wait 1 minute. I'm just going through my. Okay, no, we'll do this here, like this, and we'll say this, and this one also will be 0 and 0, 0 everything out, and just do it like this. Is a horizontal box need to be under the canvas panel, not the border, and to this one border, let's just make it 0.5, 0.5. 0 here, 0 here, and we'll do another border. We'll put it inside the horizontal box. Into the horizontal box we'll do we'll say O2 and then this, and then center vertically and horizontally. And contact also horizontally and vertically. Okay, so this one would be we will do a text block which would go into the border, and we'll say E key. This one would be the core would be this, and the font would be, just make it a little bit much more, 20. Okay, 20 is okay. And now we'll do another border which would go into the horizontal box. Yeah, which would go into the horizontal box here, and this one would be O2 and O2 here, and we'll do we'll just duplicate it, and we'll do a fill for this one, and for this one we'll do a vertical box on this border. And for this vertical box, let's just make it padding 0, padding 0 here, padding 0 here, padding 0 here, padding 0 everywhere. Okay, now we'll add the 2 text block into the vertical, and then we duplicate it. For the first one, we'll just let it like it is, and for this we'll just put this, and then back to 5. And for this border we'll do a brush color of 0.25. So it would be something like that, and let's just make this to be 42, and this would be okay. Just leave it like this, and now we'll go into our graph. We'll make a variable which will be called get item name, which would be a text, and another one which would be a get item description, and we'll go into these. And for the first one we'd bind it with a get item name, and the second one would bind it with a get item description. And here we go, and let's just close it and go to the base item where we were. Here we'll do a create widget. We'll do a UI underscore interaction. For this one, let's just open it. Let's just open this and click on it and say let's just put it like okay, so insert editable and expose on spawn, and for this one also instant editable and expose on spawn, and we can close that, and we can right click and refresh, and we'll get this. Okay, for the player controller, we'll connect it into this one. Do not connect it, wait 1 minute. Let's just take this one will do a pure, and for this one also we'll do a pure, and we'll take this one, and this one will do a get item name and get item description. Once we do that, we'll say add widget component, which will go here, and for the transform we just right click and split it. It will be 0, don't worry about it. We'll just right click and promote it to a variable, and we'll call it widget component, and after that we'll say set widget, this one we say set widget here. We'll take this and we'll connect it here, and we'll take this one, and we say set to widget space, which would be screen. If you put it well, once you turn away from it, you won't see the widget, but if you put it screen, it will remain on your screen wherever you turn from the widget, except if you turn your back on it and the camera is not facing it. Okay, and then we'll take this and say set draw a desired size, and we'll take it and here, and we'll say set collision enable to no collision, and after that we'll say attach component to component, component to component, and the parent is a widget attach, the scene that we have created. Yeah, and we'll say snap to target, snap to target, and snap to target, and simulate, and socket is none, so you don't have to worry about this. So this, and then at first you just take the widget component, you drag it, and then you right click like I told you. You can convert it to validated get. Instead of writing to node, you just put it like not valid, and then here. So let's just recap for this one. So when you enter the range of the sphere collision, it would say if the widget component this widget is valid. If it is not valid, then it would create it, and it would set the widget, it would set the space on the screen, it set the draw at desired size, set the collision to none, and attach the widget user here. So it should be above here. You can just put it here, just move it like 40 above, just for it to not to cover the actual item. Now you go here and then you double click on range exited. Once you double click on it, you will get you take the widget component, you right click, you get the validated get, and you connect on this one, and if it is valid, we just destroy the component. So if we exit the range of the sphere, we are not colliding with the sphere anymore, and the widget is valid, we just destroy the widget, so we won't see the widget on the screen. After that, okay, now we double click on the interact. We'll get the get inventory component, the component that we have in our character. We'll say try add item, the functions that we have created in our inventory component here. Here the try add item. So basically, if we are colliding with the object, and if we press E, the interact key is the E key, and it will try to add the item to your inventory, to loop through your inventory to see if room is available, and if room is available, and then it would add the item at the place where it finds the place. Yeah, and we'll just connect this one here, and for the item to add, it would be the item object that we have here, and after that we'll have some nodes here for the auto stack, for the stacking of the ammo or health, etc. But for now, we'll just do it like this, just to make sure it is working for now, and then after that we'll do the stack and all this stuff. Okay, and after that we'll do a branch, and branch here, and after that, if it is true, we would say destroy actor. So if it try to add the item, and if the item is added, the item on the ground would be destroyed and then added to your inventory. You can just print this string a added, and then put it here, not in space. It's just print a string just for us to test. Yeah, okay. So for this, I think everything is good to go. Let's just go to your anim man here. We'll create another graph like we have created for the inventory. We'll create and we'll say interaction. So each of our interaction will go into this graph, and we'll have a mini graph like this as long as more as we go into the tutorial. Yeah, and then interaction graph. Okay, so you just right click and then type E key. Just like I told you, you can just put anyone, not the debug one. You can type like this and E key, and then you will have debug key. Yeah, debug key like this. Do not use the debug key. We need the actual one, like this one, the E key here. And for this one, we don't need it to be executed when paused because it need to be playable. And for this one, we'll go into the into our components here. We'll take the capsule component. We'll say get overlapping actors, and then this one will say actors here, and the class would be actors here, so it would take every actors, and it would be for each loop with break. We need to put it like for the break, because it can't continue to loop, or else it would be an infinite loop, and it would be, yeah, your game would crash. Yeah, and now as you can see, it takes all actors. Now we need to make it take specific actors, so we do a does implement interface, and then we do a bpi underscore interact. So only the actors that have the bpi interact interface inside it, like the base item, would be able to interact with it. You can interact with it, or else anything else won't be popping anything. Just connect the loop and then put the branch here. We'll have more stuff here, but for now let's just connect it. Like I told you, as we go, we'll add more stuff, and it will be, yeah, that's why we need to make some graph, just not to make only one graph and mess everything, and you don't know where to look. Yeah, and for that, if it is let's just do a we take the array element for the in the for each loop with break, and we do interact the bbi interact the message one. We'll do it like this, and then if it is true, we'll add it here. Just make a reroute node just to make things much more cleaner for you to understand. And then the character would be self, because it is this character here. And for that, uh, yeah, and then this one, once it goes into the break. So uh, once you press the E key, it loops for all these actors. If it finds an actor that have in BBI interact interface with it, it interact with it, and if it is true and it breaks, that means it won't loop anymore. That means it stopped there, and like we have a scene here. Once if it is true, it destroys it. Yeah, and now we need to go to our capsule component here into our anim BP character blueprint where we were here. You right click on it, you will see add event, you see add component begin overlap, and you right click on it again and you see add component and overlap. You just put it here, and for this one we'll do a for the other actor we'll do a does implement interface. It will be a BPI interact, and if it is true, and if it is true, we'll do a on range entered. On range entered here, and for this one it will be self, and we can just print something. It would be print overlapped, and same for this one. It would be, we just copy it, we'll paste it here. This one will go here, and then this one here, and we'll take other actor, we'll say on range exited this time, and if it is true, it would go on range exited, which would be calling this, and then we can print string here exited, and yeah, like if it exit, it calls on exited, which we have here. It destroys a widget component, and if we enter, it adds the interaction component to our screen. So we have all this set up now. There's some more things we need to do, but it will take some more time. Let's just stop everything here, and we'll continue tomorrow. And yeah, just if you like it, if you like the tutorial, just like and subscribe if you like, and if you want, you can share because that helps a lot. I'm just starting making tutorial, and I think this tutorial some people might be wanted to follow it. And thank you, and goodbye.